Alright, welcome. This is a little introduction video for people who are new to cybersecurity and are interested in participating in some CTFs, and very specifically in this video, forensics. And so yeah, this is a map I've made of the Forensics CTF landscape, and so this is kind of what I'll be going over how I got here. So about 3 to 6 months ago, I decided I was going to tackle forensics CTF problems. That's the thing I wanted to specialize in. And I couldn't find any real good resources, so I just went to Hack the Box and Pico, and I said, all right, I am going to do all these problems. And so I did all the problems. And I did most of them actually. I've done most of the problems. But even after, when I was finished, I felt like, okay, I have a better idea of what's going on, but I really wanted an overview. And so the analogy is that when you start playing a game like Zelda, you have a map that's just, there's fog everywhere. You don't know anything. You don't know where anything's at. But after you play for a while, this is what you end up with, and you have a good idea of where everything's at. But more importantly, the relationship I like in this metaphor is that in Zelda, the different areas have different attributes. So you might encounter something different here in the heat than you do in the cold. And so how you interact with these elements are going to be different as well, the tools that you use and how you use those tools. So going back, how we end up getting this is I go through all of the problems. You could find this on my GitHub. And I go through all the problems and I get all of the details from the problems, all of the qualities. So every challenge has evidence that they give you, so we can make that's going to be a piece of a quality that's recorded, and with that evidence you typically use a type of tool, and so that's going to be recorded. You do that for every problem, and you can analyze the data. So before we go back to the graph, the results are pretty interesting. And I think helpful. So you could take a step back to where you originally wanted, what you clicked the video for is, you say, hey, I want to do some forensic CTFs, but I have no idea what's going on, what to study, what I'm going to encounter. And so this is what you will see and encounter. And then also you can start to work out how frequently you're going to encounter something. So this is about 30 problems up here for the Hack the Box CTF forensic challenges, and there's 11 PCAPs. So it's a pretty good bet if you're going to participate in a Hack the Box CTF, you are going to see a PCAP. So going back here, you have a map now of things you're going to encounter, what those things and how those things interact with each other. So for instance, these are logs, and there's a tool that you use in Linux to parse these logs. And that's going to be something that you're going to need to know if you encounter these kinds of logs. So this kind of gives you the overview of the map. Just like this map, though, going in and doing the challenges and the temples, that's where you're going to gain the knowledge. So I could give you the overview, but just looking at this map, you still don't know how to use the tools and how to, what the actual encounters are going to look like. So I tried to distill a lot of what you would see and the information you would need to tackle those problems in this, what I call the blue book. So just like the different realms in Zelda, you kind of have different realms or elements that you can encounter in digital forensics, and that's how this is organized. So for instance, if you get a network problem, which means that you're probably going to be getting PCAP as in the evidence, kind of gives a little bit of a real noobish level introduction on, okay, what's a PCAP, what's Wireshark, what are some things that are useful to analyze PCAPs and Wireshark. Also, something I've relied heavily on is GPT. So yeah, it's just me and GPT right here. But yeah, so now if you're a noob and you want to study CTF problems and you're like, all right, I'm going to try to participate in this next CTF, go to either Pico or Hack the Box. Pico's free, so you might want to start here and try to formulate a plan. So going back here, PCAPs, they come up the most, so you may want to start here and dedicate most of your attention here. The difference, I think, is also interesting. If you're going to study and you're going to participate in Pico, you may not want to focus on memory dumps, the docMs, the logs, but you may want to know how to mount a disk, and you may want to know what kind of header you're going to see in a PNG file, and then also, of course, PCAPs. So these give you a good idea of the overview of what the different realms are, what you're going to encounter, the tools you're going to need to do that. And then just like in Zelda, you got to just go practice. But yeah, say you want to start with PCAPs, you could go back up here to the Pico one, and you could just start looking for the PCAP ones, and you could start with that. So there's Wireshark, just start with that. Try to just walk through it, and you can find the walkthroughs anywhere. There's a bunch of places. CTF Time is a good place. And then yeah, do the next PCAP, maybe with the walkthrough, and then just really try to take good notes, to keep a walkthrough of your own, and then yeah, that's, if I was new to studying CTF forensics, that's what I would do. That's how I would allocate my time. I would really start and get good with PCAPs, and then again, this is Pico, so know what an image is, know how to mount an image. Again, really know what a PNG is for Pico, and yeah, there's other general ideas you're going to have to know, like base64. But yeah, this should be a good starting point if you have no idea what a CTF forensic challenge could look like. Here's kind of an overview, and then like put it into practice. Just start doing the problems. Yee.